Rainy day, heavy vibes, and our protagonist just wants to get home and crash. He walks into that textbook horror movie dark alley, heads up the stairs, and hears a weird noise. The guy goes on high alert immediately, right? Who wouldn't? But when he looks up, boom, there's a girl standing there staring into his soul. And get this, she's dressed in period clothing and holding a real sword. The mood gets so intense that the protag starts shaking in his boots and even drops his keys. The girl gets spooked by the sound of the keys and backs away, looking like a skittish kitten. The protag, trying to rationalize the madness, thinks, she must just be a super dedicated cosplayer, or a total nutjob. He sees she's pretty and carries herself well, but decides the best move is to ignore her and go inside. When he tries to walk past, she hits him with that, "Halt!" He immediately thinks, great, I'm about to get mugged by a cosplayer. But he keeps it real, tells her he lives there, and asks if he looks like a bad guy. She gets defensive and backs up even more. He finds it offensive, but takes the opening, slips inside, and locks the door. Inside, it's paradise. Shower taken, cracking open that ice-cold Coke, and his cat, the legendary wintermelon, begging for food. Peace reigns. For now. But his conscience starts eating at him, right? It's raining, it's cold, he peeps through the spy hole, nothing. He opens the door to check, and the girl is still there. She just spawned out of nowhere. He tries to be a nice guy, offers help, tells her to call her family or security because, well, the rain isn't stopping. She's standing there wet, shivering, and drops this gem. I am a disciple of the Salt Gang. The protag immediately thinks, oh boy, it's Chunibu. We've got a severe case of 8th grader syndrome here. The girl swears she's a legendary warrior, and the guy thinks she just escaped from an anime convention. Feeling sorry for the crazy cosplayer, he invites her in so she doesn't freeze to death out there. He grabs his phone to call the doorman, Uncle Zhao, to sort this out. Everything's chill. She walks in slowly until the TV turns on during a commercial. The girl has never seen a talking magic box in her life. Survival instinct kicks in. She draws her sword and slash! She literally murdered the guy's television. The guy is in shock, staring at the TV he's still making payments on as it heads for the trash. On the phone, the security guard asks, "What was that noise?" And our warrior, sweating bullets with an armed crazy lady in his living room, can only say, "It was nothing, sorry to bother you," and hangs up. The TV has a sword buried right in the center of the screen. The protagonist is sweating bullets, thinking, man, this cosplay joke is getting way too pricey. He tries to make small talk to calm the beast. He asks where she came from, but the girl is in full panic mode, pointing at the TV and yelling, "Who are these people trapped in this magic box?" The protagonist realizes that dialogue has reached a concerning level of schizophrenia. He notices her sandals, her old clothes, and when she pulls the sword out of the TV, he sees the steel is real. That's no toy. If that thing hits his neck, it's game over. He raises his hands immediately. Total surrender. "Whoa there, lady. I'm a good guy, remember? I even gave you shelter from the rain." She introduces herself as Jang Hae from the Salt Gang. It's a pretty name, but a gang named after seasoning? The protagonist has never heard of it, but he'd rather not find out the hard way. He tries to explain that they are in Jiangchang City, but she gives him a total blank stare. She doesn't know anything. Then, the protagonist has a stroke of genius. He asks about the Emperor. Instantly, her posture changes. Total respect. She says they are in the 16th year of Kayun. The protagonist pulls out his phone, does a quick Google search, and finds out the girl came straight from the Tang Dynasty. She is a living historical relic. He tries to test her by naming ancient generals. When she recognizes one, the protag, in peak trolling mode, drops, "Oh, that guy? He's farming in the jungle right now." Yes, he dropped a League of Legends reference on an ancient warrior. A misunderstood genius. Suddenly, knock knock, someone bangs on the door. Jiang He instantly goes into combat mode. Enemies? The protag almost has a heart attack trying to hold her back. "No, you maniac, it's just the delivery guy with dinner." She asks if the delivery guy is his servant. The protag just rolls with it and says, yeah, sort of. He brings offerings. Food on the table, the mood calms down. The girl looks at the protag and asks a genuine question.
Why has everyone here cut their hair? In her time, short hair was a punishment for criminals, or a monk thing. The protag's blood runs cold. He realizes she walked through the streets and, by sheer luck, didn't gut a barber on the way here. It's a miracle she didn't cause a neighborhood massacre. Time for grub. He offers her a juicy burger. Jiang He is suspicious, but the smell is too good. She's just about to accept until the protag decides to be nice and offer her an ice-cold Coke. He opens the can, but being the clumsy guy he is, he drops it. The soda sprays out, fizzing all over the floor. To us, it's a waste. To her, it's witchcraft. She sees those bubbles and thinks, poison! This traitor wants to poison me! She draws her sword at the speed of light, ready to slice the protag. He tries to explain, it's just gas, lady. It's a fizzy drink. But good luck explaining carbon dioxide to someone who thinks the TV is a box full of trapped people. The misunderstanding is set, and the protag's neck is on the chopping block.
The girl is standing there, sword in hand, swearing that the soda is deadly poison. The protag, completely out of patience, picks the can up off the floor and chugs the rest in one go. He looks at her like, see? Didn't die. She nods, accepts the truce, and sheaths the blade. The protag takes the chance to give her a lecture. Girl, stop whipping out that shank every 5 seconds. The cat is traumatized. Look at Winter Melon's face. The cat meowing in the background confirms it. With the situation calmer, the protag's brain starts to fry. What do you do with a warrior from 1200 years ago? He analyzes his options. Option 1, kick her out. Result, in 3 days, she's on the 6 o'clock news for slicing up a pedestrian, or she starves to death. Bad. Option 2, call the cops. Result, she becomes a lab rat at Area 51 or causes a massacre at the police station. Terrible. Option 3, keep her. Is it dangerous? Yes, but the protag thinks, man, it's a unique chance to witness history live. Plus, she's hot. The nosy spirit and curiosity win out. He decides to tank the responsibility. He tries to offer the burger again. Zhang He has that I'm starving to death look, but pride wins and she refuses. The protag suggests, want me to take a bite first to prove it's safe? She agrees. But then he thinks, wait, what if she hates modern seasoning and kills me for serving her bad food? Better not risk it. He changes strategy. Forget the snack, I'll make you some rice. The girl is pissed. She wanted the burger, man. Just look at the disappointment on her face.
While she waits, he tells her to sit down. She eyes the sofa suspiciously, touches it slowly, and when she sits, it's paradise. The protag has to hold back from taking a photo. It's like watching a caveman discover the iPhone, a historical moment. The poor girl is confused. This guy provides a roof, food, fluffy furniture, but she won't lower her guard. A warrior is a warrior, right? She asks again, where am I? The protag takes a deep breath. The mood shifts. He asks her to let go of the sword first, for safety, and drops the bomb. You aren't far in distance, you're far in time. You are 1200 years in the future. She freezes. He continues, no anesthesia. The emperor, dead. Your family, dead. Your enemies, dust. Everything you know has become a page in a history textbook. The reaction is obvious. Liar! She stands up, possessed. He tries to prove it by quoting a famous poem from her era. She retorts, that poet never wrote that. And he fires back, that's because he was still going to write it in your future. It's a solid argument, but the pain is greater. She doesn't want to believe her world has ended. Desperate, she grabs her sword and tries to storm out the door. The protag steps in front of her. He can't let her leave in this state. She points the sword right at his face. Why are you helping me? What do you want? And then the protag, with the best of intentions and the absolute worst choice of words in the world, says, you know, Winter Melon, my cat, when I saw him on the street, I felt pity and took him in. It's the same thing with you. My friend, did you just compare an elite assassin to a fat stray cat? It is now that he dies. She gets incredibly offended. Are you calling me a pet? The protag realizes the screw-up and immediately panics. No, calm down. My bad on the comparison.
Jiang He finally lowers her guard. She scans the protag and thinks, all right, this guy looks like a dork. He gave me an umbrella. I don't think he's an assassin. But the suspicion is still there, loud and clear. He tries to get all philosophical. I'm helping you because if I ended up in your world, I'd hope someone would help me too. Her response? Oh, if you showed up there, my boss would have taken your head off. The protag makes that face like, bro, what have I gotten myself into? He rushes to explain. It's different here.
Here, we love peace. No killing, no destroying furniture, and if the cops catch you, you're toast. He basically sets the server rules. No PvP inside the house. She realizes she's screwed. Weird clothes, no money, no map. Her only choice is to trust the local. The protag asks for her sword so he can order food without risking his hand. She hands it over. It's the official peace treaty. Now the priority shifts. The smell. Girl needs a shower ASAP. He takes her to the bathroom and starts the modern life tutorial. This is a shower. Hot water comes out. This is a toilet. Push the button and the magic happens. He shows her the shampoo. It's gonna foam up. That's normal. It's not witchcraft. He leaves her there and heads back to the living room. But then his brain hits a blue screen death of error. I forgot to teach her how to lock the door. He runs back, almost opens the door, but freezes just in time. If he sees her naked, that sword is going to fly straight for his neck on its own. He yells the instructions through the door and breathes a sigh of relief. Not today, Death. Not today. While the protag is in the living room admiring her sword, wondering if that antique is worth a fortune at a museum, Jang Hae is in the bathroom living dangerously. She sees the sweet-smelling shampoo, makes some foam, and thinks, this probably tastes good. Spoiler alert, shampoo does not taste like fruit, honey. The disappointment is real. She comes out of the shower wearing his clothes, oversized t-shirt, sleeves way too long, that classic anime look we all love. The protag, being a guy, lets it slip. It looks good on you. But he senses the danger and plays it off. It's a local custom to give compliments, okay? I'm not hitting on you. She shuts him down instantly. Don't even try it, mortal. The friend zone transcends centuries. He tries to show her a to-do list, but she looks at the paper like it's alien code. She can't read modern simplified Chinese. Another problem for the list. He looks at her feet, straw sandals falling apart. He promises to buy her new shoes tomorrow. She gets all excited and runs to put her old ones away, like a kid stashing a toy. Look at this scene. The guy is taking care of a lethal assassin like she's a niece visiting from the countryside. The doorbell rings. Her number one enemy, the delivery guy. She almost draws an invisible sword, but the protag calms the beast. It's just food, woman. Relax. They sit down to eat. Still suspicious, she quotes her ex-boss. Those who help too much without asking for anything are usually thieves. The protag gets a bit bummed, thinking she still sees him as a criminal. But then she smiles. A genuine smile. But now I know you are a good person.
Full stomach, time for the moment of truth. The protag sits Jiang He down and keeps it real. Look, whether you believe it or not, we're 1,200 years in the future. Just accept it. It'll hurt less. She gets a little sad, but she keeps listening. He starts explaining the logic of survival. If you kill me now, how long do you last? Maybe 7 days in hiding? After that, it's game over. Hunger, cold, or jail. So her best bet is to put down the sword and trust the tour guide here. He reinforces the point. Inside the house is a safe zone. The TV doesn't bite, and the phone is for fun. But outside the server is set to hardcore for anyone without ID. He explains that the world outside is peaceful for him, a regular NPC. But for her, a woman with no ID, no social security, and carrying a katana, she's a walking target. If the cops catch her, there's no talking her way out of it. And get this, today's police don't use swords. They use gunpowder magic. If she tries to resist, she's getting smoked. He pulls out his ID to show her what a citizen looks like. Without it, she's worse off than a refugee. He drops the bomb. Basically, to the system, you'd be like a runaway slave or an illegal alien. The risk of her becoming a lab rat is 100%. But then the protag opens his heart. He admits he's helping because deep down, he's a nerd. Man, having a legendary warrior from 1,200 years ago in my living room, that's the dream. He's fascinated by the living history she represents. He gives her the final choice. If you don't trust me, the door is open. You can go outside and get arrested. But if you want help, I'm here. She thinks, analyzes, and realizes that without him, she's toast. She agrees to stay and asks, what do I do now? Rule number 1, hide that sword for the love of God. And then Jiang Hae, now more relaxed, decides to ask an innocent question. By the way, where is your wife? Doesn't it look bad for us to be alone here? And right there, she touched a nerve. The protag feels the blow. Totally embarrassed, he replies, so I'm a 20-year-old single dog. I don't have a wife. Jiang Hae's face is priceless. In her time, a 20-year-old guy already had 3 kids and 2 wars on his resume. She looks at him with that silent judgment. Wow, what a loser. The protag just accepts the humiliation. To escape the awkwardness, he takes her to the guest room, the famous junk room. He warns her it's a bit of a mess, but says he'll clean it up. He sets up a winter mattress, the only one he had, and tells her it's clean.
He makes the bed for her, trying to be as much of a gentleman as possible to make up for being a lifelong bachelor. He sees she's exhausted and confused. The culture shock is heavy. Before leaving, he tries to comfort her, and himself. Get some rest. Who knows, maybe tomorrow we'll wake up and realize this was all just a crazy dream. He finally introduces himself formally. Oh, my name is Shu King, by the way. Yeah, generic protagonist name, but let's just roll with it. He closes the door. Jiang-hei, now alone in her new bunker, puts away her sword and sits on the bed. It's been a long day, from war general to a single nerd's houseguest in a matter of hours. Welcome to the 21st century. The sun rises, the birds are chirping, and our protag wakes up with that foolish hope. Please let it be a dream. Let it be that I didn't actually bring a medieval assassin home. He stares at the ceiling, takes a deep breath, checks his phone, and almost falls out of bed. He overslept big time. He gets up, goes to the living room, and there she is, sitting on the sofa, motionless, wearing the same clothes from yesterday. Reality knocks on the door. It wasn't a dream. The sword-wielding maniac is real. The vibe is peak awkward elevator silence. He tries to be friendly. Hey, you're up early, huh? She looks at her like someone who has already worked out, meditated, and cleaned her sword 3 times. Early? It's noon, you lazy bum. The protag realizes her small talk skills are at level 0. He asks if she's hungry. She makes a weird face, runs to the room, and comes back with her hands clenched shut. The protag thinks, here comes the scam, but when she opens her hands, silver. The woman is loaded with ancient currency. The protag's eyes sparkle. He thinks, those stones right there could pay my bills for a whole year. She offers the jewels and even a necklace to pay for her stay. But here, our protag proves he has character, or he's just an idiot. He gives it all back. He says, keep it, you don't need to pay me. He decides he's going to foot the bill for her stay. A true gentleman, a broke gentleman, but a gentleman nonetheless. He analyzes her look. His shirt looks like a dress on her, those straw shoes are trashed. She looks like a hobo chic traveler. He needs to buy her some real clothes. And there's a tense detail. The police station is literally across the street. The safest place is also the most dangerous. If she goes out dressed like a beggar samurai, the cops will nab her instantly. The plan? Transform the warrior into a modern girl so she can blend in. It's glow-up time. He goes to the store alone. He starts picking out some casual clothes, tops, skirts. He's doing well, until he sees that outfit. He picks up a piece that's a bit peculiar. He looks around to see if anyone is watching and tosses it into the cart. His excuse? It might look good on her. Yeah, right, you little rascal. But now, my friends, comes the true challenge. Every single man's nightmare, the underwear section. He reaches the aisle with the panties and bras. He starts sweating bullets. He feels like a grade A creep. The sales girls are staring, the customers are judging. Walking in there alone is harder than facing a Dark Souls boss while naked. Picture the scene, a 20-year-old dude all by himself picking out lace and silk. This man's courage deserves a medal. He takes a deep breath, braces himself, and thinks, it's now or never. I'm gonna have to tank this embarrassment. And he dives into the abyss of feminine lingerie. The protag leaves the store with a heavy sigh. Mission accomplished. He bought everything, clothes, shoes, and those undergarments. He's walking down the street with his face burning with shame, knowing he personally picked out what the girl is going to wear underneath. His dignity was left back at the checkout counter. To distract himself and look like an intellectual, he stops by a bookstore and buys some textbooks. The plan is simple. Teach the killing machine how to read. If she's staying here, she has to learn simplified Chinese and stop talking like an ancient scroll. Arriving at the apartment complex, the security guard, Uncle Zhao, starts making small talk. He asks about the shopping bags and drops a warning. Be careful, all right? There's a thief lurking around the neighborhood. Keep your windows locked. The protag suppresses a nervous laugh. The thief is literally on his sofa with a sharpened sword. He thanks him for the heads up and sprints upstairs. He walks in and guess what? Jiang He is at the door, sword in hand. Her mental reset is impressive. He reminds her, girl, this is a safe zone. Put away the steel. When it's time to eat, the protag has a major Chunibu moment, teenager syndrome. He asks her to thank him by calling him young warrior. It's incredibly cringe, but in her innocence, she obeys. Thank you, young warrior. The kid's ego hits the moon. He feels like a true isekai hero. Then they sit down to eat. The protag expects to see a delicate lady with royal manners. Not a chance. She attacks the plate like a construction worker on a lunch break. She starts devouring everything. The protag is shocked, but deep down, he thinks it's cute. Who doesn't like someone with a good appetite?
Gift time. He shows her the clothes, the comfy shoes, goodbye straw sandals, until we reach the final boss, the underwear. She picks up a bra and looks at it like it's an alien weapon. What is this? The protag panics. How do you explain modern support engineering without sounding like a creep? He stammers, turns bright red, and bluffs. It's to wear underneath. If you don't know how, I'll show you a YouTube tutorial. Better let the internet do the explaining. He also hands her a pack of pads. She has no clue what they are. He just says, women use these nowadays, figure it out. And he sneaks away, handing her the books to change the subject. A coward? Maybe. Sensible? Definitely. They sit down to talk. Curious, she asks, what is your rank in the Empire? The protag has to explain the sad reality of the modern graduate. He says, I'm a grad student looking for a job. Translating it for her, it's like someone who passed the imperial exam, but the emperor didn't hire them, and now they're living on side hustles. She completely misunderstands and thinks he's the son of some wealthy nobleman. Little does she know, the nobleman is paying for her clothes in installments on his credit card. She flips through the books, sees the drawings, and the bad vibes hit. Homesickness kicks in. She explains how she got here. She was chasing a thief in the rain, turned right, turned left in the forest, and poof, spawned in the future. To break the sad mood, the protag asks about her skills. Do you fight well? Can you jump high? She points to the window to the neighboring building. Oh, I can jump from the top of that, no problem. The protag looks. It's the 4th floor. If someone jumps from there today, they become a sidewalk stain. But she says it with the casualness of someone skipping rope. The protag finally gets it. She's not just a cosplayer with a sword, she's a superhuman.
Protag, hyped up by the idea of having a private master, starts dreaming big. He asks, so, do you have those celestial techniques? Can you fly? Can you shoot energy blasts from your hands? Will you teach me kung fu? Jiang-hei hits him with a reality check. She looks at him and says, buddy, you're past your prime. Your bones are already old. The guy is 20 and just got called a senior citizen. She tells him that to learn even the basics, he'd need 3 years of intense training. His dream of becoming an overpowered protagonist died right then and there. Disheartened, he tells her to go try on the new clothes. As soon as she shuts the bedroom door, his inner middle schooler wakes up. He sprints to grab her sword. He tries to strike some heroic poses, swinging it through the air, but the sword weighs a ton. He realizes that physically he's a toothpick compared to her. He puts the weapon down before he accidentally hurts himself. The door opens. Jiang-hei locks out wearing the modern clothes. And my friends, what a sight. The protag almost has a heart attack, but he keeps his poker face. She looks perfect. She asks about her hair. He forgot to buy a ribbon, so he tells her, just leave it down. She lets her hair fall. The protag thinks, man, she is way too cute, but he knows if he starts drooling, she'll slice his throat. He gulps and pretends to be natural. Danger lurks in the details. Later, she walks into the room and sees him on the PC. Curiosity kicks in. What is this glowing box? He explains it's a window to the world. She sees him working and asks if he's a businessman or a merchant. Little does she know, he's probably just farming in a game or watching YouTube, but he lets her believe it's serious work. He praises her intelligence for learning to read so fast. She freezes. She's never received a compliment like that before. But here comes the best part. The protag has a stroke of genius. He asks, was your old boss a great fighter? She says yes, so he decides to show her what a real fight looks like. He pulls up an anime video, one of those insane fights full of special effects, screaming, and energy blasts. Jiang-hei, a real samurai who lived through actual battles, is hypnotized. Her eyes sparkle watching the drawings tear each other apart on the screen. And there we go, we've just created the very first otaku from the Tang Dynasty.